Let's go to the sophomore from last Saturday, and a pretty handy field it was too. Great introduction this race. Here's the leader, gets up the track a wee bit here, and Swamp Major is looking to get to his inside, but the Buster was too brave.
Buster Brady ahead Swamp Major, then Classy Brigade. Major Ben comes late. Buster Brady, Swamp Major the pair. Buster in front. Buster Brady won at half ahead Swamp Major.
I know it's probably a low-key 3-year-old race, Dexter, but he's done well to kick like he did.
Yeah, it was a good run from him, Matt. Pretty lucky at the drive, obviously, with 6-7 Kings one in there. So, yeah, he's a lovely horse. He feels like he's still learning the game. He sort of run around quite a lot, and sort of waited till they got to him before he sort of kicked up the straight. But, Jock's done a good job with him, and he's a really nice horse going places.
Is he heading to the Jewels?
He's heading up there, yeah. So I think I'd hope for Sticks' one there to get in there, and I've had the drive in him. But, just whatever happens. But, he's going to head up there and hope for a good draw and, have a mighty fine run.
Yeah, great result for Kyle Austin. Owns trains, obviously, and the man they call Jockey's having great fun with this horse. That was a good effort on Saturday, wasn't it?
He's a good horse. His Derby runs were fantastic. I'd love to see him win the Jewels because I've never met Kyle. But, these younger guys who come into the game and they're not the big superstar stables, for him, Jewels Day could be life-changing, Wonderful horse. If he's by Bettor's Delight, you wouldn't know what he'd be worth. But because he's not by a sire who is as sexy at the moment, but he showed plenty of fight in the home straight here, guys. These are the second-tier best 3-year-olds, but they're probably no worse than most of the horses going around in the Jewels. So, look, I think he's got a super chance, Craig, and he has very quick point-to-point speed.
He does, and he's probably a horse that has flied under the radar leading into the Jewels, Greg. Not rightly so. I mean, he's beaten Classy Brigade twice now. Of course, he lost one of them on a relegation. $7, I thought it was way overs for a horse that had gone one bad race, bar the Derby where he ran 8th behind Lazarus. He went 4th in the Derby at Auckland, went super there. Hasn't got great gate speed. That would be my only concern leading into the Jewels, even if he drew well, as we see Swamp Major getting off here quickly with G.I. Joe. I thought Swamp Major had his chance to beat him. He was there to win the race, but the other bloke, as he is, and a real desire, he kicked back very well to win. Greg, I think he's a horse that could feature in the Jewels. The horse I want to ask you about, Classy Brigade. Initially, when you look at the run, you thought maybe disappointing, but you've got to remember he hadn't trialled leading into this run. It had been, 4 weeks between races. We highlighted last Wednesday here, and that's all we can do, that he was a horse that you had to look at and say, well, maybe not this week.
Yeah, I potted him last week. I thought that he was a false favourite. He ended up drifting out to about $2.70. His run was really good, I thought. You want to have another look at his last couple of 100 metres. Here he is going around the field. He ends up having to sit outside the eventual winner, and I thought he was very brave. Nigel's been at pains to tell not only us, but other media, this horse, he's had a big problem getting him back to his best. He's been to the beach, he's freshened him up. Look, he's working very hard there, Michael, and Ricky, I wouldn't say sits up on him at the 100-metre mark, but he knows he's done his best. He's gone to Nigel and said, you're back on track. I believe he'll be a formidable force come the Jewels.
It seems to be racing a bit dour to me. It took him quite a bit of time to get around the field there, but maybe Ricky was looking after him, trying not to hurt him. Not for me for Jewels Day on him at this stage, only because he's been to war a lot and he's travelled a lot, but hey, he gets a good draw, things could change. I'd say the same about Swamp Major, say the same about Buster. Obviously, he's a Bromac, the Australian 3-year-old who does have very high gate speed. Has contracted a virus and he's pulled out. So the Australian attack or assault on the Jewels has now been decimated. But he's a Bromac out of this one. Still very hard to go past the 2 Purden horses, Heaven Rocks, and Chase the Dream, who's become quite a forgotten horse in Australia.
Just on that he's a Bromac thing, is it, Greg, and I'll ask you this question because I haven't asked you, but is it something we need to address now with the Australian situation? I mean, they're not sending their best horses over here, and even the ones that we're nominating, and it may be their 3rd or 4th one early on, and he doesn't come, so we go down the track to the 5th or 6th one. One that's turned up this week, or this year, my Kiwi mate's been here for 2 months. Is it something that I think Harness Racing New Zealand need to readdress?
Oh, I think they always are looking to, evolve things and go over them. I think on our last show, Michael, once we've done all the wrap of all the races, that'll give us a chance to say, hey, here's a couple of ideas to throw into the mix. I know Ken Barron came out in the media the other day and said, take all the Group 1 winners out of it and that'll even things up. I mean, I've got an idea too that might want to bring it back a month and shift the 3-year-old fillies to a little bit later. there's nothing wrong with chucking those things in, but I think the last show is the time to do it.
And the most important thing to remember about the Australian invites is it hasn't cost us any money to invite these horses. Darren Williams has worked his butt off, probably made 100 phone calls. So we spent $100 to try and get these horses here. The interest in Australia is enormously high because of it. The bottom line is having those horses invited, even though they're pulled out, and we can't control that. We can't control viruses, we can't control Arms of an Angel. There's 7 races here are going on Sky One. For those who don't understand how big a deal it is, most New Zealand harness racing is on Sky 2. You need to pay to have Sky 2. You get Sky One for free. It'll be on in between Randwick and Doomben in Eagle Farm on Oaks Day. So that's because the Australians were coming. The turnover boost out of that is massive. Sky 1 to Sky 2 is huge. It's not like Sky 1 and Sky 2 here, or Trackside 1 and Trackside 2. So already, at no extra cost to our industry, we're going to get more Australian money back. So while the Australian thing has fallen apart, it hasn't cost us any money, so we haven't lost anything out of it, really.
No. All right, let's get to the sophomore beaten Brigade.
Well, he's certainly got the gate speed to put himself in the right spot, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, Matt. You know, he's pretty good in that aspect, and you know, just as I said before the race, just missing that trial sort of fortnight ago probably took its toll the last bit, but you know, he's dug down, had a go.
Does he make the trip to Cambridge for the Jewels now?
Yeah, if he makes the 12, mate, we'll send him up. So if he gets a good marble that gate speed, he should be thereabouts anyway.
Mark, Major Ben had to take the step up in grade today, and he's still run well, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yeah, I was pleased with him, and you know, he was closing, but it was just too late.
What about the Jewels for Major Ben? Is that a pathway now?
Yeah, I think the owners are keen to head that way and give him his chance.
And G.I. Joe you had in the same race. What will be the plan with him?
He'll probably just race around his grade around here through the winter.
Second up, Tim. He's raced well again today, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, look, there's a pretty big step up today. This time in, like you say, it's only his second run, and you know, he footed himself pretty well with the ones that beat him home. So yeah, he hit the line good, so that's promising.
What sort of field did you get out there, Rick, with Classy Brigade?
Well, you know, considering his draw and everything, I was pretty wrapped with him, really. He had to work pretty hard to get parked, and it's blowing hard out there, so... No, he only just got petered out the last 100. He was, you know, got right to them, and then he just had enough that last 100, so... No, we're pretty happy.
Post-race chats with Nigel McGrath, is everything pressing forward to the Jewels now?
Yeah, no, that's why he sort of was here, to have a run for that, so, you know, just the conditions and everything, you wouldn't get much of a line on him, but no, I was pretty happy. He needed that probably as well.
All right, key for him and many others will be the barrier draw. So let's have a look at the market before they come out, of course, on Friday afternoon. Heaven Rocks was outstanding in the last race. Geez, a good horse. He's just got a few mental issues, if you like.
Not physical. His is not physical.
No, no, absolutely not.
But, mate, what did you make of Shandale at Cambridge? I thought he had every reason to run second. He only ran third. I thought he was just okay.
I talked to Morris after the race, Greg, Michael, and he did say, listen, that run there will tighten him up, but we saw what happened. He didn't run past God's Delight. So initially I was disappointed. I'll take Morris's advice and he'll be a better horse in 10 days' time.
Okay, we'll talk more about those markets, of course. I think they're due to come out about 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, but again, we'll give you a timeline around that. Let's have a look at the Winter Cup, and this was one heck of a contest,
This was the
Michael.
most talked about race, bizarrely, on a day of Group 1's, Greg, on the whole of Saturday.
No, this was a terrific performance. The improvement, Craig, from week to week was nothing short of outstanding, but Mark Purdon will certainly tell us about his thoughts.
And Titan Banner won the bouquet in the Garden City Florist Winter Cup. Titan Banner beat Chris and me. It was a sterling two-horse struggle.
Mark, not many horses under the conditions that are out there today can do what that horse just did, does there?
No, there's not. No, it was a great run and sort of attacked middle stages and came out down the back in a headwind, and it was a very tenacious effort.
Talk us through the week that's just been. You had some issues here last week?
Yes, we did. Like he just touched his knee a couple of times and went rough, and I thought what might help him would be an overcheck. I thought when he did that, he just lost his balance and he was harder to rectify, so we put an overcheck on him today, and he was a lot better.
I understand Kerry Etstrich played his part as well.
Kerry's a great farrier, and he takes his job seriously, and he spent some time with him also.
For you, do you feel as though you're still getting to know the horse as well?
He's a lovely horse, and Graham's done a great job with him, so we're just sort of just setting him towards the Jewels, and that was probably a good start for it.
In terms of the Jewels, is it straight there now with a trial, or what's the plan there?
No, he'll go straight. It's only a fortnight away, and he deserves a couple of days off after that effort, and then it'll just be a build-up toward the Jewels.
The All-Stars team won it with Southwind Arden back in 2012. The record was held by Power of Tara and Monkey King at 4-3. And considering the conditions, that was an awesome run.
That was an outstanding run and probably the most aggressive Mark Purdon drive I've seen in a very long time, because he got looked at by Mighty Flying Wake at the 1400 metre mark, and he relented, but not only did he relent, he was straight back off again to sit outside Chris and me. Gee, this horse, he's gone good. And what I liked about him, boys, leading into the Jewels was he paced so much better than a week before. I mean, he got a little bit touchy with the knee the week before, and he still went good. He went probably 5 lengths better this week, Greg. I thought Chris and me was good out of the race, but he certainly settled in front of Titan Banner, and I thought the other one probably outpointed him.
Yeah, 358.1 again for Chris and me. He had a 20 metre head start on him. We'll hear from Crandell Getty in a moment. But this horse, Titan Banner, he's developing into not only a serious Jewels winning hope, but also post that into the new season.
Maybe a New Zealand Cup or some. Craig's right. The way he paced to the line was so much cleaner than the week before, and Mark thinks the overcheck he added to the horse was a big help there. Look, here's the start of the race. I think the fact he got a 20-metre start on Chris and me actually probably wasn't much of an advantage, considering how hard he had to work on the run. He was just the better horse on the day. Chris and me's probably not a 3-2 rough and tumble horse in the wet, but he is a Hunter Cup winner, let's not forget. This horse has stood up now. I had my doubts last week he would handle a mile around Cambridge because of his gait. That gait, as you said, Craig, again, was significantly better, Greg. If he draws to posse up in front of Field Marshal, and I know we keep talking about these draws, but if he does, if he gets in front of Field Marshal, it's going to be hard to see him beaten in the Jewels.
I know I mentioned it on the day, but Kerry Estridge, who actually had a part to play in the shoeing of all 9 Jewels winners last year, all 9 of them, he either shoes them full-time.
He should charge more.
Well, he probably should. I'll tell you what, he's so well suited to the All-Stars team because of his commitment. Like, he's there. I've seen him drive in the gate and come out 8-10 hours later.
Some of the hardest working people.
Look, and
he also shoes Mumbai and also Inghai,
that's right.
so he
That's
does
right.
He should charge more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sonny Ruby had a
Put
part
the
to
fees
play
up.
with that last week. So, an enormous last year, rather.
Well, what did you make of Chris and me?
Well, I thought he was pretty brave. I know Cran wasn't overly rapt that he got beaten, but let's hear what he had to say.
Cranny's only just gone down. You must be pleased with how he's run.
Yeah, he's gone very good, but just beaten by a better horse on the day, really.
What are the plans now for Chris and me?
He'll go to Australia in approximately 3 weeks and go to Sydney, and he'll race in a race before the Len Smith Mile, and then we'll get a wee plan after that.
Yeah, I talked to Cran probably an hour after that was Matthew Cross interviewing him there, and he was disappointed he got beaten. So
again, take Titan Banner out of play. He's won by 15 lengths,
Yes.
and we're all
That was the margin.
and he's gone 358, and we'll go woohoo! Chris
massive,
Bee's back.
massive.
So I wouldn't lose too much out of it. Maybe Titan Banner's a better horse than we realise, fellas.
Probably the other thing about Titan Banner is, and this is not a negative at all, is he's had 2 hell of a runs in 2 weeks leading into the Jewels. He's got to go from 3,200 back to 1,600 metres.
if he improves as much again, though,
Well,
great.
if any stable can get him up again in a fortnight, they will, and he deserves it. I think he's the bookmaker's worst result, Greg.
Yeah, and one of your best ones. You backed him at 6 last week. He's into 240. Is there any way you can see him starting favourite in front of Field Marshal? Because let's not forget, Field Marshal's the forgotten horse.
Yeah.
Had a colic attack last Tuesday. He's over that. He's going to the workouts at Cambridge, which we'll show you on Monday. But look, it's hard to see how Field Marshal's going to come from behind this horse, fellas.
I think he's clearly the one to beat, Titan Banner. Of the rest, we'll have a look later on about a horse that trialled very well. His name was My Kiwi Mate, because it was a super trial.
Here's the market for the Emerald as it sits at the moment, and Field Marshal the Drifter out to 175. Titan Banner, if you got the 21, congratulations to you. Now it's $2.40. My Kiwi Mate drifts. We're going to have a look very shortly at the workout. In fact, right on cue. Our man Glenn Vaughan has found it for us, and here's the workout, Craig.
Yeah, that's Zach Butcher on My Kiwi Mate in front, and Hug the Wind is outside him. And if you have a look at the hands here of Zach Butcher, he never moved on My Kiwi Mate, and you could see them working a little bit there on Hug the Wind. Hey, he did it pretty easy. The sectionals weren't brilliant, but My Kiwi Mate, Michael, was so good in that Taylor Mile and Messenger. If he got an inside draw, I don't think he's as good as Field Marshal or Titan Banner, but he might be in the right spot.
Interesting whether Jody Quinlan comes across to drive the horse. Tony Hurley, he's on him this week at Alexandra Park. 1,700 metres, barrier 8. I'm sure you'll mention this on Under the Lights tomorrow. Very careful punting week with these Jules horses, fellas. Those who are racing in the Jules, who have bad draws, do they want to gut Buster 8 days out?
Yeah.
Just be careful.
It's
Last week you did a great job, by the way. You had the Shandale show, and you said to people, you interviewed Maurice McKendry, who told us Shandale was going 3 fence. Everybody in the world then backed Robbie Burns. That's all you can do as a presenter. Here's the timeline, fellas. Except this is Friday, Greg. The bookies are saying not till 4 p.m. on Friday. At least that gives you the opportunity to multi them up into Friday night ones, and I suppose they've got a lot to think about, but gee, you would think most of these favourites are going to right themselves pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I'm sure they've come out earlier than that in the past, but anyway, that's when they're out, so we'll keep an eye on that. And
so they, after the Friday night, then reopen them again after the Jules workouts, which will be what, Sunday?
I would imagine they come out Sunday, probably lunchtime. We'll try and get that confirmed, and you're on plenty of times as I am in the next couple of.
We'll find that out.
I'll be there at Sunday at Rangiora, so we should have a time then. What about a chance for you to win some money on your box seat? So here it is. You've got to name the 9 trainers and drivers in our lip service competition. The packages, there'll be 9 of them come up on the screen, and if you're lucky enough to name all 9, there might be a team of you. If you're that good, then you get the chance to win the $100 bet on Jules Day. We'll do a draw for that. Please email your answers to theboxseat@tab.co.nz, and we'll announce the winner on next week's show. So here are your 9 horse people.
Diamonds, emeralds, rubies.
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 So there it is, there's your competition. Make sure you get your entries into us, and good luck with that. All right, we're going to take a short break here on your box seat, brought to you in association with Sweet Lou, standing at Woodlands, of course. When we come back, we'll have some Aussie stuff for you.